What's up YouTube, it's your boy Nash here, welcome back to the channel. And for today's Yu-Gi-Oh news video, well, all I have to say is that this Convert May will be one of the most unique Yu-Gi-Oh news videos I've done ever. Because if you guys remember and are fans of Ishizu Ishtar like I am, you will know that she now has new support cards. Yeah, she has quite a few, including a few cards to go with the Gravekeeper strategy, as well as cards to help you get into Exchange of the Spirit. And if you guys do not know Exchange of the Spirit, the card is just absolutely stupid. In fact, I think I still have my copy. Give me 1 second, guys. Because I think I still have my copies from the gold sets. Let's see. Checking my Traps binder. Let's have a look. Dark Advance, Dark Mirror Force, Omega Summon, Virus Cannon, Lost Wind, still a pretty good card to this day. Chain Disappearance, Level Like Catastrophe, Turn to Tribute, Hero Signal, Destiny Signal. Here we are. Let's see. No. Wind Blast, Counter Gate. Ah, here we are. Here we are. Exchange of the Spirit. Here we are. I actually still have my copy. In fact, I don't have just one. I actually have 2 copies of crazy enough. So, Exchange of the Spirit reads, if both players have 15 or more cards in their graveyard, pay 1,000 life points. Each player swaps the cards in their grave with the cards in their deck. That shuffles their deck. You can only activate 1 Exchange of the Spirit per duel. So this was basically a way to stop your opponent from like comboing off, basically. But yeah, Ishizu Ishtar has support cards, which I'm actually kind of surprised about, because I never thought after all these years, as I'm putting my binders back in my drawer over here, I never thought after all these years that we would get to see Ishizu Ishtar get new cards. You know, I never thought we would ever see the day, but it is happening. There's quite a few cards to talk about in this video, and if there's some extra time, I'm going to talk about some of the reprints that are going to be in the set. Some of the other reprints that will be in the set. So hopefully there will be time, but only time will tell. But we'll see. But hopefully you guys enjoy this video. If you guys do and you guys want to see more Yu-Gi-Oh news videos, which get posted every Tuesday, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. And I understand that a lot of you guys who watch my videos are not subscribed. So if you guys have not done so already, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and turn on that notification bell, because there's a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh news to talk about in the upcoming weeks, perhaps even in the upcoming months for all we know. And of course there's also a lot of crazy deck profiles coming at you, including a brand new Battling Boxer deck. Black Wings are getting new support, so I'll be talking about that pretty soon. So again, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you guys don't miss out. And as always, make sure you guys follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. The links will be in the description below. Sorry, the hell? I don't know why I put my thumb down. Anyway, it is all in the description below. And of course, for fan mail, if you guys want to send me fan mail, all the info will be in the description as well. Anyway, let's get straight into it. Let's get straight into it. First up, we have Keldo, the Possessed Statue, which is a 4-star Earth Fairy with 1200 attack and 1600 defense. And both of its effects are once per turn. The first effect reads, you can discard one other Earth Fairy monster, special summon this card from your hand. Then you can add one Exchange the Spirit or a card that mentions it from your deck to your hand. Basically, it's Spell and Trap Rhoda to get out Exchange of the Spirit, and it helps you basically thin out your deck to go into some of your to help you go into some of your combo starters and less of your bricks, so to speak, which is really cool. Second effect reads, which is a quick effect. You can banish this card from your field or grave, then target up to 5 cards in any graveyard. Shuffle them into the deck. If Exchange of the Spirit is not on your field or in the grave, at activation, you can only target up to 3 cards instead. So, I honestly, I really don't know about that effect. I mean, if it had the Pot of Avarice effect, where you're able to like draw like maybe one, like at least 1 or 2 cards, then you know what, this effect would have been busted. It would have been extremely busted. But at the same time, Pot of Avarice is still a pretty busted card either way. So it's not too bad of an effect. I think you would need to literally at least run 2 copies of Exchange of the Spirit. That way if you have one on your field or in your deck and there's one in your graveyard, you would be able to get the effect off more easily. But if you only have one, even though the effect says once per duel, if you were to have 1 copy, you're not going to be able to get the effects off at all. You would need to have at least 2, if not maybe a full playset of the card. But still, it's not too bad. They all have the same or I guess Keldo and this next one have the same Cyber Dragon effect, but they have a different effect next to it. So this one is called Mudora, the Cestus Oracle, which is a 4-star Earth Fairy with 1500 attack and 1800 defense, and both of its effects are once per turn. The first effect says you can discard one other Earth Fairy, special summon this card from your hand. Then you can place 1 Gravekeeper's Trap from your deck face up in your Spell and Trap zone. So this would be what, Imperial Tombs in Necro Valley, I would say. Let me go to Nexus, because I think I want to see about something. Let's go to a random deck. Let's see. No, I think Necro Valley would probably have another. Necro Valley Temple and Imperial Tombs of Necro Valley would be another one, and also Gravekeeper's Trap would be the other one, which is one of the new cards that is in the set, which I will talk about here in a bit. But yeah, those are just some of the cards that you can place face up in your back row. Oh, actually, wait a minute. Hang on a second. Place 1 Gravekeeper's Trap. Okay, I assume Gravekeeper's Trap is the trap card that they just added. Okay, I thought it was any Gravekeeper's Trap, but I guess not. Sorry, guys. Anyway, yeah. Gravekeeper's Trap. Quite the card. It's quite the card to say the very least. But I'll explain what it does once we get to that point, which actually won't be long. Won't be long after this next one anyway. But yeah, basically it's sort of like Spell Trap Rhoda, but instead of adding it to your hand, you place it face up in the back row. The second effect, which is a quick effect that reads, you can banish this card from your field or grave. Then target the 5 cards in any graveyard, shuffle them into the deck. Basically, the second effect is the same, I believe. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. So the second effect of Mudora and Keldo are the same, but their first effects are sort of different, which is not too bad. Not too bad. I think any archetype that excuse me, that has the same like first effect or second effect or whatever usually is pretty good. Pretty good, because you can actually use the effect. You can actually use the effect multiple times, so it'll be as if you have. Sent sent like 10 cards or something like that from your grave back into your deck, which is actually really good, especially if you're trying to. Especially if you also activate, Pot of Avarice. That's yet another five monsters, which is 15 cards in all, and you get to draw 2, which is not too bad at all. So I would definitely recommend adding Pot of Avarice into a deck like this. I just might have to build this deck. I don't know if any of these would be 3-ofs. I know that Keldo and Mudora definitely would be a 3-of, but this next one I think it might only be a 2, which this one is called Agito, the Ancient Sentry, which is a 4-star Earth Fairy, 1500 attack, 1800 and looks like 1300 defense on the artwork, but they typed it up. They typed it as 1800, so I guess 1300. I'll say. and both of its effects are once per turn. First effect reads: if a card or cards is sent from the hand or deck to your opponent's grave, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then you can special summon a level 4 Earth Fairy from your grave, except this card. So it acts as it's basically a Cyber Dragon Monster Reborn, which will help you go into which next turn it'll help you go into your rank 4 plays. It can help you go into your Utopia plays, which is scary. I would say this is definitely a 3-of easily. Just with this first effect, it's definitely a 3-of. But the second effect, I think it would only be a 2. But excuse me. But in my opinion, definitely put it as a 3 just in case. If not, 2 works as well. Second effect reads: if this card is sent from the hand or deck to the grave, you can send the top 5 cards of each deck to the grave. Then, in exchange of the spirit is in your grave, you can send the top 5 cards of either deck to the graveyard. So I'm assuming that you're able to send. What? I assume it would be a total of 10, I presume? I'm not so sure about that. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think, because I don't really know. I'm assuming that if this card were to be sent from the hand to the graveyard, like off of let's say I'll say Dark World Dealings. Let's say that as an example. Basically, you get to send the top 5 cards of each deck, both yours and your opponent's, to the graveyard. And if Exchange of the Spirit were to be in your graveyard, you can send the top 5 cards of either deck to the grave. I'm assuming. Yeah, I'm assuming it's 5 cards off of this card being sent to the grave, and then another 5 if Exchange of the Spirit is in the grave. So I'm assuming it's definitely 10. It's like 10 maybe 15 cards depending on how you see it. So it's not too bad. I mean, it's a multi-Foolish Burial, not much else to say about that, actually. Now for Gravekeeper's Trap, which is a continuous trap, and it reads that you can only use the second and third effects once per turn. First effect reads, while Exchange of the Spirit is in your grave, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects. Your opponent cannot activate card effects in the grave or special summon monsters from the grave. So this is basically a continuous trap version of Necro Valley, which that's actually pretty busted alone. That right there is just busted alone, because Necro Valley, now, if you guys don't know, when Necro Valley was released, I think it was what, Magic Ruler, I believe, either Magic Ruler or Pharaonic Guardian. It was one or the other. It ended up getting multiple erratas because people had no idea, didn't know how the card worked, and it ended up getting like multiple erratas, which was just absolutely stupid. I don't remember. I honestly don't know how many erratas the card got, but it ended up getting quite a few. It got quite a few erratas to a point where Konami finally decided to hang on, guys. Something's going on here with my laptop for some reason. Oh, there we go. Finally. Anyway, the card ended up getting like so many erratas over the years that Konami just, ended up making it so it would gain a certain effect, which I'll read off on Nexus. Give me 1 second. Go to deck editor. I'll choose the Battling Boxer deck, which I will be doing that deck profile sometime in the next couple weeks, possibly this weekend. I made it a little more consistent, so to speak, which you'll see that deck very, 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 very soon. Let's see, Necro Valley. Let's see, the new errata reads, all Gravekeeper's monsters gain 500 attack and defense. Cards in the graveyard cannot be banished. Negate any card effect that would move a card in the grave to a different place. Negate any card that changes types or attributes in the grave. So they made it as sort of like a much more revamped version of Mystic Minds, so to speak, which is not too bad. Again, it prevents call by from being triggered. It prevents it basically acts as sort of like a ghost spell, but in a field spell form, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I never thought we would ever get. I never thought that this card would act as a Necro Valley, which is absolutely stupid. At least for the first effect, anyway. The second effect reads, during the main phase, you can discard one card, add a Gravekeeper's monster or an Earth Fairy monster from your deck to your hand. So basically, these Earth Fairies and the Gravekeeper monsters together could work so well together. So this basically comes as a 1-for-1. It's sort of like a 1-for-1, which is really cool, which is not too bad. And then the third effect says, during your opponent's draw phase, before they draw, you can declare one card name, reveal the card your opponent draws for their normal draw, and if it's the declared card, send it to the grave. That's a pretty... it's a pretty risky move, but if you know what your opponent's deck is, then you can easily just call, you know, card... You know, you can call it, like, Ash Blossom or Crossout or whatever. And if you got it right, you won't have to deal with it. It gets sent to the graveyard, which is just absolutely insane. Next up, apparently there's been some TCG name problems with these next two. So I'm going to read off what their TCG name is supposedly gonna be. It is called Exchange of the Heart, which is a normal trap, and it says if you control 3 or more Earth Fairy monsters, send as many monsters on the field as possible to the grave, then each player can special summon a monster from their opponent's grave up to the number of monsters that were sent to their opponent's grave by this effect. And if exchanges the spirits in your grave, you can set a trap directly from your deck, and it can be activated this turn. This would be perfect with Gravekeeper's Trap because all you do is just set it, and when a new chain starts, just flip it up, and it instantly becomes a Necro Valley right off the bat. You don't even need Necro Valley itself, which is just absolutely insane. Plus, plus not only that, this card acts as sort of like a multi-monster reborn, which is not too shabby, to be honest. And now we have a brand new Blast held by a tribute known as Blast held by Fate, and it has two effects which are once per turn. The first effect reads: when an opponent's monster declares an attack, destroy one face-up monster they control with the highest attack your choice of type. And if you do, inflict damage to them equal to the destroy monster's original attack. And if exchange of the spirit is not in your grave, you take the damage equal to the damage your opponent took. So you would need to have exchange of the spirit in your graveyard. Otherwise, this effect pretty much just becomes Ring of Destruction. That's all it is. It becomes Ring of Destruction on steroids, basically. Not much else. There's really not much else to say about it. The second effect reads: if this card is sent from the hand or deck to the grave, you can target a level 4 Earth Fairy monster in your grave, add it to your hand. So by having this sent to your graveyard, it basically acts as a monster reincarnation, which is not too bad. Not too bad. I don't really know if any of these cards. I don't know if the. Excuse me. I honestly don't know if Gravekeeper will become like a tier 0 deck upon it being released later this year. But I can guarantee you it is going to be quite the interesting. It'll be quite the interesting deck with these new cards. And then for the reprint, obviously, as I mentioned, we have Exchange of the Spirit. And the last card that I'm going to talk about, which came in another article for some dumbass reason, we have Kelback the Ancient Vanguard, which is a 4-star Earth Fairy with 1500 attack and 1800 defense, and both of its effects are once per turn. First effect reads: if a card or cards is sent from the hand and or deck to your opponent's grave, you can target one opponent's special summon monster, special summon this card from your hand, then return that monster to the hand. So basically, it's a Cyber Dragon Compulse, which is just broken. You guys know if there's a card, if there's a monster with a Cyber Dragon effect mixed in with something else, you know damn well that it's gonna be that fucking good. You guys know it is gonna be nuts. This one ain't no different. It ain't no different, ladies and gentlemen. And then the second effect reads: if this card is sent from the hand or deck to the grave, you can send the top 5 cards of each deck to the grave. And if you have exchanges of spirit in your grave, set a trap from your grave. So again, Gravekeeper's Trap, Blast held by Fate, any of the new cards, set it to your back row, and you're pretty much just off to the races there. But all in all, I'm actually liking the new Ishizu Ishtar cards. I don't really know if they'll be like really if they'll be like meta, but only time will tell. Only time will tell. I am, however, since we do have a couple minutes left in this video, I will be talking about a couple reprints that will be in the set. That'll be in the new Duelist pack, Duelist of Pyroxene, I believe it's pronounced. We have Zolga the Prophet and Polymerization. Zolga the Prophet was actually kind of an interesting card. I will talk about it in this video, or at least its effect. For those who don't remember me talking about it, because I'm pretty sure I did. I'll go to this deck, just a random deck. Zolga the Prophet. 4-star Earth Fairy, 4-star Earth Fairy, 1700 attack, 1200 defense. If you control an Earth Fairy monster, except this card, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then look at up to the 5 cards. Look at up to 5 cards from the top of each player's deck. Okay, so basically it just helps you know what your opponent's strategy is, basically, which is really cool. When a monster that was normal summoned by tributing this card to cause an attack, you match the card from your grave, destroy that monster. If you do inflict 2,000 damage to your opponent, you can only use each effect once per turn. So being able to just deal damage to your opponent, not too bad. Not too bad at all. I will admit, the Poly reprint is kind of interesting. I don't know why. I'm assuming it has something to do with the fact that the Gravekeepers are getting support in the form of Ishizu Ishtar's new cards, or it could also mean that we're getting a fusion from Morph Trix, which I don't see that happening anytime soon. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But that brings me to the question of the day. What are your guys' thoughts on the new Ishizu Ishtar cards? Let me know down in the comments below. And that will do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. And if you guys are new to the channel and you guys want to see more Yu-Gi-Oh news videos, which typically get posted every Tuesday, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you guys do not miss out on any new content that comes your way. And as always, sorry guys, I blanked out for a second. I apologize. Anyway, as always, make sure you guys are following me on my social media, my Twitters, and my Instagram. Links will be in the description. And if you guys want to send me fan mail and you guys want me to open it up on the channel, all the info will be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.